Well, folks, good evening. I'm Craig Shelton. This is Big Richard Walker. Of course, we're the guys from HoustonMediaWatch.com, HMW. Fantastic show for the folks this week. If you're a Texan fan, I think you're going to be pretty pleased with the amount of content, video, and everything that we have for you on the show this week. You can follow me on Twitter at Craig Shelton, HMW. You can follow my man Richard Walker on Twitter at HMW Big Walker, and at various times throughout the show tonight you will see our Twitter and Facebook handles posted for you right here on the screen. So we encourage you to interact with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Now let's get right into it with the Texans talk. Outstanding week. We got smiles on our faces right now, but we've been grinding, and we're feeling a little bit of gratification after a long week.
Long week.
Texans get it done, taking care of business in their second preseason game over the Miami Dolphins, 24-17 last Saturday. That is the Texans' fifth preseason home winning game. They're on a streak of a five-game winning streak of preseason home games. Now, not that means any great thing, but leave it up to people in the media to give you meaningless stats. So, hey, we had to do our part in being ridiculous and just throwing some stats out there. All right, we'll get it popping right away. Last week on the show, we talked a whole lot, Richard, about Case Keenum. We talked a whole lot about T.J. Yates. We're fortunate enough to have Jerome Solomon from ESPN 97.5 Radio and from the Houston Chronicle, and also John Harris from 1560 The Game, Yahoo Radio on the show. We talked a lot about these two guys. Well, they did not disappoint.
No, they didn't.
They both gave us a little bit of what they got to offer going into the 2013-14 Texans season. So we'll get it started by, Richard, your thoughts, first of all, with how T.J. Yates responded under, I'm going to call it pressure, if nothing else, just because of the flow of momentum of fans that appear to be behind Case Keenum. You have to give credit to how T.J. Yates came out and played. And by the way, he didn't play horrible the past week either.
He didn't. And the thing to remember, folks, is that you have to make an apples-to-apples comparison when you're evaluating Case Keenum versus T.J. Yates.
Right.
This time the roles were reversed. Case started the game and played against the 1s and 2s, and TJ played against the 2s and 3s. So I'm sure that when they sit down and go through the evaluation process, they're going to break down the segment and look at the film apples to apples. You know, how did Case perform against the 1s versus how did TJ perform against the 1s? To his credit, TJ did a great job against the 3s, like he should have. Now, if he had some type of failure or, struggled a bit against that type of team, I think that would have set him a bit behind in the race. But I don't think he did anything to disqualify himself for the race.
Can he be set behind in the race with Papa Kubiak overseeing things? And I don't mean that disparagingly against Gary Kubiak. Look, Gary Kubiak has a process like most coaches do. And one thing about his process and everything that makes up the Gary Kubiak tree, you got you got a trunk, which is built around that zone blocking scheme.
Yes.
But then when you start getting into the more philosophical things about Kubiak, and he's a value guy. He values loyalty. He values his veterans.
Well, I think what it's going to boil down to is it's going to boil down to more of Case Keenum winning the backup quarterback job than T.J. Yates losing it.
That's a good way to put it.
That's in summary. I think it's literally Case is going to have some type of performance here. I'm really looking at the Saints game is going to be the litmus test for him, how he responds against their defense.
For TJ or
for Case?
For Case.
Case, I think Case is going to make his case, pun intended, or not make his case in Game 3, and I think from there we'll kind of see where he lands on the depth chart.
Yeah, I have to give some credit because I'm one of the guys that's been saying that. Look, I think Case is clearly going to be the better quarterback long term. And I think that, and I've also said that let's go to it now. Case should be the guy, but I have to admit, that T.J. Yates played well. But then I have to also start to consider maybe we're starting to see a little bit of the T.J. Yates profile mature right before our eyes. Maybe what we saw, maybe the reason why this 5th round draft pick, 3rd on the depth chart, was able to respond when Matt Schaub went down last season, lead the team to a few wins. I've said they won in spite of him, but I'll say he quarterbacked the team.
Right, yeah.
Was able to get him the first franchise playoff win in history, in the franchise's history. Maybe pressure. Maybe he'll never be pretty. Maybe he'll never be overly consistent week to week. But maybe he's a guy that has just enough attributes, just enough athleticism, enough of an arm, a la Joe Flacco, that if you put a good team around him, and if you're patient enough to know that he can make some plays, but he's never going to be that stat guard. Maybe he's a guy that, like a Joe Flacco, if you hang around and hanging out with him long enough, just when you give up on him or you don't think he has enough, he has just enough of that intangible, that immeasurable, to get things done. I mean, could that possibly be? Because you can win with guys like that.
Yeah, you can.
But you can also win with guys that do things the right way on a consistent basis, and people that coaches tend to trust a little bit more. Talk about Case Keenum.
Well, I think that what you're going to see is a true valuation model put together for both TJ and Case. Because at some point you have to make a decision. You have to go with who's your backup, and then that's going to ultimately determine.
Well, we can't do college. We can't go co-backups.
Well, I mean, no, that doesn't work in the NFL. And then what you're going to have to do eventually is you're going to have to make a decision on one of those guys' future. One of those guys within the next year or two is not going to be with the team. So either you go with Case, you invest in him, you back him up, you make him be the backup, and you work on him, being, for all intents and purposes, possibly an heir apparent to Schaub.
But what do we do now? Because I don't trust putting Case Keenum on a practice squad.
No, he's going to get taken. After the way he's performed, he's performed above a practice squad level. So you can't put him back on the practice squad now. That's no longer an option. So that's what I'm saying. You're kind of the fortunate side effect of this is you got to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to keep Case, move him forward in the organization, possibly put him in line to be the future quarterback, or do you take the conservative, or as I say, the Kubiakian route, and you stick with T.J. Yates, who
hashtag Kubiakian,
who you know what he's capable of, you kind of what you spoke about, what his flaws are, and you work around them, and then you promote Case and try to get something for him on the market, because otherwise he's just going to walk.
We decided this week to try to put some focus on one of the players on the roster that's competing for a job, and we thought it was a good idea to get it started with a rookie draft pick, as opposed to one of the free agents, because there are some interesting free agents on this team. When you think about a guy like Willie Jefferson out of the school up in East Texas, Stephen F. Austin. It eluded me there for a moment. Desi Kareem, who played last season up in Indianapolis. But we decided to go with the big combo guard, combo tackle, David Quisenberry. We had an opportunity.
Show some love to the big man.
We had an opportunity to talk to David Quisenberry, and we got two opportunities. We talked to him once after practice in the practice bubble. And we did not tape that, but we did tape a segment in regards to the information that he shared with us that afternoon after practice. And then we got an opportunity after the game on Saturday night to talk to him in the locker room, along with several other Texans that you will see on this broadcast tonight. We've got great footage. We got footage for you with Texans president of operations, Jamie Roots. We was real honored to get a chance to talk to Jamie. We got Keyshawn Martin for you. We got some Brooks Reed for you. Who else we got, Richard?
We got Case, of course.
We got Case. We got Danielle Manning. We got Danielle Manning. We got a lot of footage that we've been taping all through training camp. And now we want to share that with you on tonight's broadcast of the show. So what I want you to do is you guys to hang in there, and we go run to a break and pay a couple bills. And when we come back, we're going to get going with the Quisenberry stuff we got for you folks. I think you're going to really enjoy some of that. I tried to share some insight with you there, and then David himself shared some insight with you from the locker room after the Texans' big 24-17 win over the Miami Dolphins, where clearly Jerome Solomon once again, Case Keenum outdueled TJ Yates, making us stupid people smarter than you geeks. All right, we're going to run pay some bills. Hang in there. Check us out. We're right out here outside Reliant. We'll catch you folks in a few minutes. Hang in there.